The truth about rare personalities: most people think being rare means being different. In psychology, rare personalities aren't about being weird, they're about how deeply you think, feel, and perceive the world. If most of these signs fit you, you don't just stand out. You experience life on another layer. 1. You think in layers, not lines. Most people see life as cause-effect. You see stacks of meaning. You don't just ask what happened, you ask why, what it means, and how it might echo later. Psychologists call this metacognition, thinking about your own thinking. It demands emotional distance and brutal honesty. You notice your reaction, then you analyze the reaction itself. Why did that comment sting? What belief did it hit? What would I do differently next time? This second-order thinking slows you down in the moment, but it saves you from repeating the same mistake 10 times. With you, growth looks deliberate, not accidental. Voiceover beat, subtle pause, you don't just react, you analyze your reactions. And that awareness changes everything. 2. You feel energy more than words. You can enter a room and sense tension before anyone speaks. Tonal shifts, micropauses, eye movements, you feel the unsaid. That's empathic accuracy, a rare skill where you infer emotions with unusual precision. It's a superpower and a cost. You read subtext so well you can't switch it off. Music is louder for you, even at low volume. After social events, you need time to decompress, not because you dislike people, but because your nervous system has been working double time. Voiceover beat, you're not overthinking. You're overhearing feelings. 3. You value depth over connection. You don't chase 100 friendships. You want one conversation that matters. Psychology calls this low social reward sensitivity. Your brain isn't easily excited by surface-level bonding. Trends, gossip, small talk, they feel like chewing gum that's lost its flavor. You're the person who asks, what are you building toward? What do you believe but rarely say? You'd rather leave a party early than stay and pretend you're engaged. In a world optimized for attention, you're optimized for meaning. 4. You're calm in chaos. When things fall apart, other people spike, you settle. That's high emotional regulation, your ability to notice the surge and ride it without being thrown. You don't suppress emotion, and you don't explode. You translate it. You label it, anger, fear, grief, then you choose a response that aligns with your values. You can be decisive without being reactive. Pain still hurts, but it doesn't own you. Your clarity under pressure makes you the person others call at 2 a.m. Voiceover beat, you don't deny the storm, you become the lighthouse. 5. You're uncomfortable in shallow environments. Fake smiles, performative outrage, status theater, your system rejects it. Not because you're antisocial, but because you're wired for authenticity orientation. You can play along for a while, but your body tells the truth, heavy shoulders, tight jaw, restless mind. You would rather sit in honest silence than perform enthusiasm. This can make you look distant in the wrong rooms, but it makes you magnetic in the right ones, the rooms where truth is currency. 6. You learn through observation, not instruction. You study patterns, how conflicts start, how people reveal priorities, how systems reward and punish. You rarely need a step-by-step. You watch, then you do. That's observational intelligence, common in highly intuitive thinkers. Traditional systems may frustrate you, exams that reward memorization, jobs that reward clock time over contribution. You thrive where outcomes matter more than optics. Give you a model once, and you'll remix it better by morning. Voiceover beat, you don't just absorb information, you absorb context. 7. You carry silent depth. At first, people may underestimate you. You don't overshare. You observe, then contribute precisely. That's a reflective personality structure. You process internally before you show externally. When you finally speak, you compress 3 pages into 3 sentences. You're not hiding, you're refining. You don't need a crowd to confirm your identity, which makes casual approval nice, but optional. 8. You can be alone without feeling lonely. Solitude isn't a void for you, it's a sanctuary. You read, walk, journal, build, stare out the window and actually think. Psychologically, that's high self-integration. Your sense of self isn't propped up by constant feedback loops. You still value people, but you don't need noise to feel alive. 10 quiet minutes with your own thoughts can reset you more than 2 loud hours in a crowd. Voiceover beat, soft pause, your own presence is enough. 9. You sense patterns of time. Rare personalities keep one eye on the long arc. You feel how today's choice becomes tomorrow's habit. You track cycles, your energy across the week, your creativity across the month, your resilience across the year. Because you notice these arcs, you design your life intentionally, deep work in your peak windows, maintenance during lows, reflection before reset. People call it discipline, you call it alignment. 10. You refuse to perform. You can act when needed, but you won't live as a costume. If a space requires you to shrink your questions, dull your empathy, or pretend you don't see what you see, you quietly step back. This isn't arrogance, it's integrity. You'd rather disappoint expectations than betray yourself. And though it costs you certain circles, it buys you peace. Final truth about rare minds: having a rare personality isn't about feeling special. It's about being real in a world that rewards performance. You probably don't fit easily, and that's exactly why your mind is powerful. You are not hard to understand, you are simply not meant to be understood by everyone. If this felt uncomfortably accurate, that isn't coincidence. That's awareness. Hold on to it. Build with it. Choose rooms where honesty is welcomed, not punished. Protect the depth that makes you different, and use it to make things worth existing. Call to action: short, how many signs did you recognize? Drop your number, subscribe for weekly psychology without the sugarcoat, and share this with someone who needs to hear that their depth is not a flaw.